Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Barbara Aboagye and I create content on studying abroad. In today's episode, I have with me Odeneho Joel Anaman, and he is actually a Chevening scholar. And we are going to talk about the Chevening essay. When it comes to scholarships in the UK, the Chevening is kind of like the ish. And when you get selected, you see them all over social media, chosen for Chevening. So before we start today's episode, I'll allow Joel to introduce himself and tell us about the Chevening scholar and why the hype about the scholarship. So Joel, the floor is yours.
Next thing is relationship building. Yeah. Um, the very common thing that I've seen with people writing this particular essay has got to do with a lot of people do name dropping,
Okay.
and a lot of people talk about how they connected with someone. That's good, right? They're connecting with someone. That's good. Just as the genesis of bigger things, right? So when you go back to see, you have to understand the purpose. What do they want to see? What does Chevening want to see? And Chevening is saying that they are looking for individuals with strong professional relationship building skills who will engage with the Chevening community and influence and lead others in their chosen profession. So explain how you build and maintain relationships in a professional capacity using clear examples of how you currently do this and outline how you hope to use these skills in the future. So it's very important that if you are answering this question, you understand what is required. They want to know your relationship building skills because mainly networking, building relationships, that's what um, gets people to exchange ideas. That's what unlocks opportunities for people and also unlocks progress. And it's also a way of building influence on people because if you're able to build effective relationships and you're able to service those relationships, then it becomes very easy for you to thrive off those relationships. And those people can also thrive on you. So, again, in this case, you can still start with something around what relationship building would mean to you, right? Um, a lot of people have the thought that relationship or networking is more like maybe being able to have a contact with someone and then that's it. But what Shivni wants to see is how you are leveraging these kind of relationships to cause change. So think about how you were able to it's all about selfless service, I would say, right? Everything has to be selfless. So think about how you were able to unlock an opportunity for someone, mainly because they were in your network, right? And it could be anything. It could be that you sort of introduce them to someone else, and that unlocked some opportunity for both of them. There's a mutually beneficial relationship, and then based on that, they were able to achieve certain things, right? That is what she even wants to hear. So it's not about saying, okay, I connected this person to this person, but at the end of the day, after the connection, what was the impact of the connection, right? That all the stories that you're building, there's a result aspect, and it's not just there for show, right? The result aspect is meant to help buttress from an objective point of view. How did whatever action you took impact some form of change or some form of progress objectively? So the relationship building is also in the same light, right? Either connecting to people and unlocking something for them, or being able to leverage the relationship you have with someone to get some resource to impact some change. So the resource may not necessarily be terminate at being just yourself. So there are cases where I've seen people talk about how they engage someone and then after the engagement they were able to get themselves a job, right? Yes, I'm not saying that that's not relationship building. That is relationship building. However, what Chevening wants to see is, okay, you got yourself a job. What next? Is it that because you now learned how to build this relationship to get yourself a job, now you've taught 10 other people to leverage that opportunity and now they all have jobs? Then there's some level of impact. So remember that this part of the essay again is still about selflessness, right? So you can again go ahead straight away to talk about a story, right, about relationships. You can start with what you're understanding, what your definition of relationships are. I think I didn't, I said a quote, but I didn't talk about defining defining leadership in your own words on the leadership one. So, in your own words, and the same way with the networking or relationship building, define relationship building in your own words. Remember, it has to end in a selfless impact. So you have introduction.
So, for you, what example did you use with regards to this for the relationship building?
Yeah. Or you can talk about a story that made you understand what true relationship building is.
That means it shouldn't necessarily be your story. You could also use a story from somebody else. You could tap from somebody else's story. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And then your body. Now, this is where the magic happens. As much as possible, if you can connect the kind of stories you write here with the one in the leadership essay, it makes it more authentic. So think about how Barbara is, having this YouTube channel, etc. Right, and then now Barbara is able to leverage the relationship that she's built with all the people who come on the show, like on her show on the YouTube channel, to now review essays, like review CVs, etc. That's one step further, right, of creating more impact. So it still talks about the same bit about, okay, increasing access to opportunities, but this time around it's even highlighting how she's able to now do more with less, right? The relationship that she starts with, she's able to nurture those relationships, how she goes about it in terms of, is it a case of beyond interviewing the people, she's created an opportunity where they can advertise their brands, or they can get some form of mutually beneficial kind of thing, right? That's what Barbara would highlight in this part of the story. And it's not just going to be one story. Again, the same playbook, one or two stories or three stories. You rank them and then you break them down in the context of relationship building. And as much as possible, if you can connect them to the leadership essay, that'll be perfect, because then it creates some form of coherence in between the various essays. So build your stories. Okay. Okay. I don't know why that PC is so slow. I mean, I know when I restart it, it will get better, but let me just breeze through. So build your stories. You're looking at 2 to 3 stories, um, and let it reflect what is in the intro. Additionally, um, so this, I'm having the top block. Okay, So yeah, you make sure that your stories reflect what's in the intro, and additionally, you try to make it as coherent as possible as in connecting to the leadership story. So if you can connect this to the leadership story, even better. Remember that the impact, I keep highlighting this. Remember that the impact does not terminate at you benefiting, but highlights how others benefited. So um, that's really about the relationship bit. And then again, conclude by highlighting you can conclude by highlighting the network that Chevening is going to give you. How are you going to use that particular network, right? So how I hate using the word capitalize, but I think I'll use it here. How would you capitalize on the relationship you will build achieving to advance the course? It has to be 3 lines, you're done. Okay, because you don't have a lot of space. You literally have 500 words. So you need to, as much as possible, squeeze everything in. But that really is like when you get a first playbook right, almost the leadership and then the relationship building essays, they do have the same format. So it's quite easy to work around it. And there's one other thing that I've observed, right? That studying the UK and career plan, I think it's quite obvious, but studying the UK and career plan is futuristic. Um, Relationship building and then leadership is from the past. You can't rewrite your past. So it's one of the very difficult essays to write, the leadership and then the relationship building. But when you get past that hurdle, I'll tell you that feel free to dream, like dream big. Like I mean, it has to be realistic and all of
Exactly.
that,
That's
but
what I was gonna add. Like dream big, but make it realistic. Okay.
you get it. So dream, like everything from here becomes futuristic, and it's very easy to talk about futuristic things. So show your ambition. Let it be realistic, but show your ambition. So what does studying in the UK look like?